You all right?
I'm good. I'm really good actually, man. Yeah, I'm buzzing, mate. You know what I mean? It's been a good week. Life is, I don't know, leveling out. I suppose is probably the easiest thing. It's not really going anywhere anymore. But
Yeah, we're starting to get used to it a little bit. Like it's whatever's happening is happening, and everyone's sort of like starting to settle and find their feet a bit. I think. I hope. Me and you wore the same T-shirt as well, so I mean, I think it's not really like I don't wake up in the morning and go, let's have a positive day.
yeah,
And it's almost like in allowing yourself to not have to have a positive day, in allowing yourself to, if you get angry, be angry, exercise sadness. If you need to have a cry, have a cry. If you need to scream, have a scream. If you go need to hit the bag, hit the bag. If you do all those things, if you allow that into your life, I think it creates more space for them positivity. Because I really appreciate you saying that, and it's lovely to be it's not the sort of judgment I'd make upon myself, but I really appreciate someone else making that observation, because it's not really an effort of mine to go out and seize the day or be constantly positive. It's okay to have bad days. We talked the other day, and I was on my own with 3 kids. And it was 10 in the morning, and my youngest had already eaten gravel and Play-Doh. Pretty sure he ate some Play-Doh. My oldest was having the worst mood of her life, and the young one just didn't know which way to go, so she was just crying all day because there was just this chaos. And you just have to let it. You just have to understand that no matter what happens in life, it's happened to somebody else before. The day will end. It will start again tomorrow, and it'll be all right. And I don't know. Like I said, it's nice to get that feedback from you, because I don't self-analyze like that. So I guess whatever it is I'm doing is sort of coming off quite well. At least I'm giving off the right impression, anyway.
I don't know whether you find serendipitous stuff sort of like kind of happens like that. If you're in tune and you're open, I think for me, the universe can do that for you. Do you know what I mean? And for me, that's where being positive can be a bit easier. It's just
that's how I live my whole life.
Yeah.
My whole life. I see a lot of people who are very, very goal orientated in life, just to sort of slightly veer off and come back in. They are blinkered and 100% focused on this goal they have to achieve. That's never really been for me. What you said there is serendipitous moments happen when you're open. And I liken it to walking through life with your head up and keeping an eye on everything that's going in and out of your life, and grabbing hold of the opportunities and the things that come along that you fancy a go at. If you're blinkered, you miss all of that, and you end up focusing on this one goal that might not be what you'd expected when you get there. That's how I got into modelling. That's how I ended up acting. That's how I ended up on Britain's Next Top Model. It's how I ended up doing all the things that I did that led us to being on that shoot. It was about being open to that serendipitous opportunity that comes along because the stars have aligned. That I think that's a much calmer life to live.
Yeah.
There's a lot less to frustrate you in that way of doing things, and it's worked out all right for me, because I've done some stuff that I'm really proud of and I love. You know what I mean?
One of the top questions that I got was what was that moment that you felt like you'd made it? As a fashion model. But hearing that sentence, it's like suddenly we're actually, if you weren't necessarily running to get to that point, you know what I mean, targeted, then that feeling might not even have really come, because you're just on that journey anyway.
Yeah, it was a bit like that. But there again, there was one particular incident where I sort of drifted into it. And work, by the way, it's not an excuse to not work hard. Sometimes that's like I was just wandering about. Like, you find yourself in a situation, and then you put in 100% effort and commitment and hard work towards it. Otherwise, what is the point of anything? And that had led me to finding myself on the GQ cover shoot. Oh. And when I did that, and that came out, everything changed. And that was forced upon me. Like, okay, I'm gonna have to acknowledge here that something has happened, because it was a different world. It was night and day. It was a different world. Like, I was seen differently. I was still the same person, obviously. So when that happened, that was my big break into the industry, or my breakthrough into the industry. I'd been doing a couple of good things for a couple of years, but that leveled up. And again, I guess it was a landmark moment, but at the same time, the work I'd been ready for that moment for 2 years, just by living my life well, keeping myself fit, keeping myself healthy, staying professional, working hard, and then you do that day after day after day, and there's smaller opportunities, and one day is the day you meet a big opportunity, the lucky break, the big break. And if you're ready and you have been working hard, you'll be able to take that.
I was so pleased to suddenly to see a man like yourself on the cover of GQ with his awesome hair, and I was just, for me it was a moment where hair, in fact, men's fashion became alive. Because it was about shape and texture, and it was embracing it's big shape as well, and a lot of it. And before it was all, it was a lot of groom stuff. It was all quite short.
I think men in the fashion industry in general, they were clothes hangers. There was there was a lot of personality in the women's game. Like they'd all come with very editorial looks, but generally men fit a formula, and it was just about, okay, try not to see the man so that you can see the clothes. And then suddenly around the mid-noughties, there was a lot of character coming into the editorial scene, where suddenly you started to spot men for who they were in models. And I guess that my hair was my thing for that particular sort of box tick as well.
Suddenly, like, COVID's happening, and now, like, it's like virtually impossible to get a film shot. It was a really good, bit of positivity. I mean, it controversial because the government aren't putting money. I don't feel like they're putting money where they should be. But a producer friend of mine said that they're backing a bill where, like, the film industry is going to get not necessarily given the money, but they're going to back any investments like into film so that they can invest risk-free to get new films shot.
That's nice.
So, I mean, that's definitely going to be a big help on that side of the industry.
People like us, every day's been a hustle for a long time as well. We're self-employed. You don't have that ever. You're on holiday, you're still checking your phone. Like it never stops. Even when it does stop, you're thinking about the next. So yeah, it took a while to adjust and just be able to like let that settle. It was up here the whole time, like stressing me out. I'm just like, keep it calm. It's all right. And eventually it dissipated, and you realise it can wait. And that's a good lesson in life. And it can wait. For life, these things can wait. We're all still here. We're doing okay. And it tells me, listen, we've got this far. We'll get as far as we need to go.
So the thing, like how we started with it, it's the same as that positive thing, being unblinkered, being open thing. One of the most important is letting it go.
Yeah.
Let life happen around you, and I always find the worst thing for me throughout my life was trying to be the master. The puppeteer, trying to make it all, control it all, change that. I can do this, I can get through anything, but I've got to do it. And then suddenly, like, that's what stresses you out. And then suddenly, just like, if you can take that step back, let it be. And that takes daily, hourly work sometimes with the kids. You've got to let that go. It's fine. Can't do anything about that. Or just be present. That's the thing. Like, with the unblinking, just being present, just being open, just being aware, but not trying to react. Being a model, going through all of that pain and joy of getting work, not getting work, being passed over, and then suddenly they're like, "You are going to judge now. You're going to be judged." Now forgive me, I wasn't au fait with your era on Britain's Next Top Model. I'm way too old for that, obviously. So were you judge and executioner?
Abby was the official executioner, which is great. She's well suited to that. She's a ruthless scouse girl. You'll be fine. But yeah, we were very much involved in the process of who was staying and who was going. The slight difference with that is I feel like I think we had 12 girls to start with. Honestly, when you walk in the room, you have a fair idea of who's got a chance and who hasn't got a chance, because we have an eye. But then you're working through personalities and to see who can handle the industry and who will be able to develop and all the things, and who can rise to the challenges that we set for them that are fairly similar to stuff that you'd find in the industry. And you sort of know by the time you're sending somebody home, in most respects, that you're not, I wouldn't say doing them a favour, but this industry can be a hide into nothing as well. So it's almost like freeing somebody from their thing. It's like, brilliant, now you can move on and go and pursue other things. That, to me, I mean, this is probably what I'm telling myself as I'm crushing somebody's dreams. That that to me is what makes me, it reconciles it for me, because I can say to them, look, just you're done. That's great. Go and enjoy your life now. Go and focus on other things. There were a couple where you're like, I don't know what to do here. They're both brilliant at this stage, but ultimately we now narrowed it down to. I mean, our winner, by the way, was fantastic, and she's gone on. We were so lucky to have her in the year that I did, because she's gone on to a really, really strong career. And so that's why you're letting other people go, because you're actually ending up with someone who really has got a chance, and she has gone on to do really good stuff. She's a solid working model now. Yeah. So yeah, you do have to reconcile it. On the other hand, I didn't have to sit in front of two people with 3 months rent on the line and tell one person they ain't getting the rent paid. That for me is that I didn't quite have to go that route like they do to me.
One of the important things that we always try and put, through the message is it's so important to give back.
Yeah.
Learn your experience, gain your experience, and then you've got to share and teach your experience, so that others can be bigger, better, grow, change the world. For me, it's natural evolution. That's the ethics of evolution for me.
From a selfless and also selfish point of view as well. Yeah. Because from the selfless point of view is obvious. Giving back is giving back. It's a lovely thing to do, and you inspire a next generation. Evolution results. But from a selfish point of view, actually, it brings a lot back as well. Number one, I was revising everything I know. I think I actually walked out of that job on Top Model a probably more complete model than I walked in myself, because I'm sat there going, oh yeah, I forgot about that. I'm watching and giving feedback on other people, which is something I haven't had to do before. So actually, yeah, the giving back process, it often surprises you with a lot for yourself as well. So aside from the selfless side of things, which is obviously the reason why you why you do give back, you do gain from it as well. Yeah, totally.
I was only there to teach you, but it's one of the byproducts, isn't it, of anybody teaching. It's very similar, right? For all the people I've had to teach technical hairdressing to, is actually you come away knowing a bit more about hairdressing.
Yeah, you've revised a bit yourself. You've practiced your methods. You're more refined yourself. Yeah, totally.
And even just building and reaffirming your self-confidence as well, isn't it? Because it's like, well, actually, I do know what I'm talking about. Like you said,
yeah.
I've just realised I'm actually quite good at this modelling.
yeah.
If I've managed to help you to do better, then I must be quite good at it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So that sort of helps to sort of like breed into that mental health and wellness. Yeah, I mean that kind of happened similarly for us, especially with Crozier. It's something that's always been on the periphery for me. A website I wanted to, educate and share people on session techniques with hair. All about cool hair within fashion and editorial stuff. What does it mean? But I was always doing shoots, so I was always quite busy. So it was always on the side. And then with lockdown came, it was sort of, we've got time to focus. How do we change this? But also, we were faced with adversity, and like with modelling, even probably with fitness, the typical, go to gyms. Gyms can't open, hairdressers can't open, you can't go to a shoot. Like, never been told that before. I've never faced like that much adversity. Like, well, you've still got all your bills, but you can't work.
Yeah, what are we going to do?
What are you going to do? So, it's like, well, hang on. So how do we pivot with this? How do we get a bit more creative? How do we face that adversity and, express our creativity with what it is that we kind of want to do? So we, starting a new subscription service to, social content and things like that, to delivering social content to help hairdressers be, fill up their social media a bit, and stay informed with fashionable content, so that but an important thing for us was it was so that then they could concentrate on their business updates, still engaging their clients, and keeping everyone interested and bringing them in. So that because anyone, as soon now hairdressers are open, and hopefully they will stay open, but they need to concentrate on expanding that business and surviving and things like that.